Live from Washington tonight, Taranjit Singh Sandhu. Mr. Sandhu, thank you very much. And I think it's good morning to you there.
Thank you, Arnab.
Thank you for joining us, and I hope you're safe and taking care of yourself and everyone in the Indian mission there, sir.
Yes, thank you, Arnab. Thank you very much. Through you, I want to reassure all the relatives and friends of the Indian nationals who are based here that the embassy and our 5 consulates in the United States, that is Atlanta, Houston, San Francisco, New York, Chicago, we are all here to help the Indians in these difficult times. We have to keep in mind that we are facing an unprecedented health emergency situation, which has warranted extreme preventive restrictions, lockdowns, not only in India, but also in US. Today, 4/5 of United States is in a lockdown.
Yeah, absolutely. We are aware. We are absolutely aware it's difficult times. I'm going to use as much of the opportunity to make this relevant to a lot of people watching tonight. My first question to you, Mr. Sandhu, is that a few days back, I received an email from a person called Sudhanshu Kaushik, who is the Executive Director of North American Association of Indian Students. And Sudhanshu raised a specific point to me. He said there are many Indian students in the United States who are being threatened to be evicted without food and need help. And went on to say that thousands of Indian students were stranded, need help, and they are receiving calls. He said, I'm going on to say this, that he said we are receiving hundreds of calls from J1 visa holders and F1 visa holders who are stranded because many students come on scholarship and many J1 students are sponsored by the company that they work with. Now they don't have the money, their visas have expired. What can they do? And he said, we hope that you can get their voice heard. Mr. Sandhu, I couldn't have asked for someone more, direct to answer this question. Please tell them, what should all these Indian students facing these difficulties do? Can I forward this email to you? And what should they do?
Sure. Let me again put the things in perspective, Arnab. On 11th March, the moment visa restrictions were put in India, on the instructions of Prime Minister, we established a 24/7 helpline. And this is on 11th March. And we got to most of the students, to anybody who was having a problem at that time. Mind you, because travel was allowed till 22nd, we gave emergency visas. All the consulates and the embassy worked round the corner. Then we got in touch with the students through student bodies. We went out through social media, through our websites. A special task force was constituted which specifically got to the universities. We have been issuing regular advisories. 15 such advisories have been issued. These are detailed. They are on our website, through email, social media. Many universities, we got in touch and they were persuaded to continue the accommodation. After that, we also got in touch with the hotel industry, many of them Indian Americans, who offered temporary accommodation, even free accommodation. And this was very much publicized in the media. In fact, many of the students who had problems with food, understandably in today's situation, I must say that these Indian Americans came forward and did that. So not only them, but even the Indian doctors, they provided emergency medical assistance on the telephones. We had a case of an Indian student and his family from Colorado who called us. We immediately got in touch with the authorities, provided assistance to them. A special initiative, especially for the students, has been undertaken. It's called a peer student line, which connects the Indian student associations with the embassy and the consulates and between themselves. Through this means, this is through telephone, emails, and other means, and they can share accurate information. We have been sharing with them. There are 8,000 active associations through that, which further reach to about 50,000 students. So what I am trying to mention to you is that within the constraints, we are active and we are very much here. So anyone who has reached to us through their problem, we have got back. Now coming specifically to these visa-related issues,
Yes.
please understand right now the first and the foremost effort is to provide health security to everyone. Two very clear instructions all around in India as well as here are being given. One is please avoid travel. Secondly, keep social distance. As far as these issues are concerned, we have already taken up with the US government. The EM has also taken up with the Foreign Secretary here. Please understand that the US authorities at this time are under consideration of these because the priority is first to tackle
Of course,
the medical emergency which is facing.
I do appreciate that. But what I'm going to do is that I am, with your permission, going to send this email, forward this email to you of the representative Indian students who wrote to me, so that, you know, maybe you can forward it to the relevant authorities. My next question to you, Mr. Sandhu, is this. How many...
Sure, within next 1 hour, we will also be in touch with them.
That's so kind. That's so kind. I'll do it immediately after the program. Mr. Sandhu, how many Indian nationals have tested COVID positive who are now in the US? How many people of Indian origin do you have who have tested positive, who are COVID positive, who are in the US?
Arnab, there are total of 200,000 students here. Then there are also, we have 600,000 green cards, and we have about 125,000 H1Bs. As of today, we have information that 10 have tested positive and 4 deaths have taken place so far. Only 10 have tested positive and 4 deaths have taken place. We are in touch with all the families of the people who have died. Most of them have happened in the New York state, and most of them are driving their own vehicles.
Well, and for those who have tested positive or are in quarantine, if there are Indian citizens and those people of Indian origin who need extra help at times like this, are you in any position to
Yes.
push buttons on that to help people, like elderly people or senior citizens or those who are really unwell or alone?
As I pointed out to you that in Colorado, we got an SOS from an Indian student and his family who needed to be hospitalized and there was some problem. We got in touch with the governor's office, with the local mayor's office, and they were immediately admitted in. United States is responding to the emergency. You must realize that, yes, it is an unprecedented situation, but there are also significant developments which are taking place in terms of diagnostics and in terms of medicines. That also, this particular system is responding to.
Well, Mr. Sandhu, one last question to you. How is the United States looking at India's response? Because the approaches have been very, very different. In America, there's still a pushback on a total lockdown. We have a complete lockdown here, which is largely effective, though the numbers are still going up. We've seen unnecessarily critical reports in the American papers, and I don't understand, but what is the general sense you get from besides the media? How are people looking at the Indian response?
I must share with you that in general, there is a lot of interest on how India is managing it. Because as a democratic polity, to be able to put these restrictions is not an easy matter. The United States is facing that situation, and that's why India is a very important case which they are looking at.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Sandhu, I can only say thank you for your service. Thank you for the information that you have shared, and more power to your efforts. And do stay safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Arnab. And through you again, I want to assure all the family members that we are here and we will stay here. Don't worry. Whenever we get any call, and we are proactively reaching out as the Prime Minister has instructed, and hopefully Together we will get through this.
Absolutely, we will. We will. Thank you, Mr. Sandhu, again. Thank you.